Hello everyone, welcome back and hello from a new space. I moved house recently, but this is that's something that I'm going to talk about next video. Next video is an update, so yeah, there's going to be a lot more about this there. Today I wanted to talk about something that it's so important, especially now when things accelerate and there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of things that show up in this reality, and people are confused and don't understand what's going on. And I explained a few of these things also in the last update, what actually these changes, this weird thing that are happening right now are. But more important than that is that moving through this chaos and moving through in energy, in frequency, in awareness, it's about overcoming other things, something more important than, well, what you see. It's a reflection of those things, but it's called dead end. So when I was a kid, for me, like I said this in a few years back, reality was always boring. And why do I say that? It was just, I could see its limitation, and it felt so wow, there's not a lot to do. I mean, for somebody like me, because obviously you can find a lot of things to do, but so I was a kid, and especially I felt this more constricting and limiting during the summertime, when there was the summer vacation, which people should be happy, enjoy themselves, go places and whatever. Well, I had vacation, I would go to certain places, visit certain things, but then it would be normal life, and summer vacation is a long time. I could feel wow, I'm wasting time. What am I doing here? And I could see the adults living this kind of dead life, and I just never understood how can I just continue living like that? I mean, but well, at that point in energy, certain things made sense. It's just for me, in order to cope with that kind of limitation, or at least what I perceived as limitation, I would withdraw in my own world, which was the world of drawing stories, fairy tales, things like that. Information that actually took me out of my little reality that says that's it. So I always kept busy, in the sense that I would always draw, because that was the first thing that since I knew myself, that I knew that I could do. So this is something that I cultivated and obviously turned into a career later on in life. But more than just that, was just a way for me to download the magic, to bring something that was there here. And just by doing this exercise made me feel less helpless, less limited, and less constricted by what I saw around me. And that was my way to cope with life in general, because I knew even if aside from a few people in my life that I could entrust who I am, how I am, my essence, the rest was just whatever. Most people don't care to know the other. So I always had to wear not a mask, but I adapted to whatever I saw. But then again, like I said, I could see this dead end in what people do and how people thought, and I could never follow those things to the end, because at the end of that, it's death. So I would see in all the patterns, all these things people call life, habits, whatever, lifestyle, things like that. That is if we do that on and on and on with no change, with nothing that can be moved to the next level or improve or whatever, I would see that this is going to end badly, and I don't want to be there on that side of things. So this way is being creative and learning all the time, and wanting to absorb more and more, to understand, to expand, to go beyond that. That's what one thing that actually kept me sane in the end, and helped me feel, like I said, less constricted by this reality. And later in life it became even harder, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to fit into a reality that's, of course we all come here, I mean, in the end we come here because, well, we want to go through these stories and because it's fun from the other side. But when you're in the middle of it, and when you're like somewhere along the journey, and it's becoming more and more intense, and more and more rocky, more and more obstacles and things that you're like, what's this? It's like there's a very few things that you feel like you can do in that time to overcome those limitations. And most people give in to fear. Most people just accept this whole thing. Well, there's a time to accept certain things, and there's a time to actually find a way to go around it and push forward. So for me, later in life, it became, I would continue to, I would have this naturally, this way of doing life, like, okay, if life gives me this, then I'm going to try to learn a bit more of this and this and this, or maybe I can open another door. So I would never really just look at that thing as like, I know this is a dead end, but I'm not going to go there, I'm just going to find another way. So this is kind of like how I pull myself out of the direction that, well, most people go and will go through life. And you think like, oh, I'm following this, I'm following my dream, I'm following this. And then you find yourself caught in other people's things that there's nothing wrong to, how to say, be part of different stories and learn and whatever. But it's like you have to know when a certain, I say, you're past a certain point where if you go further, then you'll end up dead, basically, because there's no more that thing. Everything has a beginning and an end, every pattern of life. So if you're not aware of that, you start to lose yourself in a job, in career, in relationships, in all this kind of things. So you always have to have this state of like, be alert, be vigilant. So that was a thing that I always had. And that always created kind of like anxiety and a frustration in me, because I would see that there's like, I feel like I'm in zombie town, in zombie world, like where people do things just on autopilot, like what? Why do you do that? Why would you say, why? So I just try to, with all these little things that may seem like, what is she doing? Why is she choosing this? Why? Because I saw the dead ends, and I couldn't accept the dead ends. If I would go in this direction, then I knew it's like I could see it. It's like if I just do that's the end. So I have to pull myself out of that so I can move forward. So moving forward in energy, it's about that. It's about learning about structures, learning, experiencing certain patterns, but at the same time, you have to unlearn things. You learn things, you crystallize things, and then you unlearn and dissolve them and move past them. It's like you're here to experience things, but at the same time, you have to start remembering that the point of all this is actually you want to experience more life and more things. But if you get stuck, if you get lost in one of those structures, then that's it, and the next point is exit. And most people live like this. This is the autopilot that maybe a lot of other people would talk about, but cannot maybe really understand what that actually is. For me, this is a reality that like I said, it's a reality that I experienced since I was a kid. And it created so much, not just anxiety, like I said, frustration, and also feeling helpless. Well, I'm in a better place now, and where I changed, I went through so many things. So I have more, I'm more resilient, and well, I've changed, obviously. But things, I mean, you have to, going through these patterns hasn't stopped, and moving forward, going through these moments in time, so like a creating energy, you're going through experiences, and you have to become not just alert, but like understand what this is. It's like what each moment is, so to know how to navigate these moments, the situation, these events, like how far I'm supposed to go in this direction, how far I'm going to take it from there to there, how long I'm going to be here. Yes, sometimes it's beyond you in the sense that you do not have energy, you don't have enough energy to see ahead, and sometimes, like I said, it's not meant to, because you need to have the full experience. So that might seem a little bit, I feel blind. I feel like I'm blind, like walking blindly in this world and I don't know what I'm doing. And yes, that's part of the experience as well, but also because this particular reality, well, until now has been quite a tricky one because of its limitation and all sorts of distortions. But like I said, we knew that we will encounter distortions. And another thing that people are like not aware or becoming aware, but at the same time they don't know, they don't understand how they are supposed to deal with this. And this is implants. I talked about this in the last video, in the update. And these implants are things that surface or resurface periodically in your life to trigger certain traumas, events that were already were placed there, but they're like on a loop. And unless you catch that and you see, it's like, oh, so it's not me that I'm doing this, but it was like an event was placed there, activated and triggered this loop, so this and this can go on forever and ever. And I will lose myself in it, and I will exit without even knowing that there's anything else to live, to experience, to understand that life is more, and I don't know, do be other things. So that's one of the trickiest thing to overcome in this reality, because you think, well, but this is life. No, this is not life. And that's why a lot of people felt so, people that, well, like me, who started to learn about the law of attraction, actually for me was in the late or early 90s, something like that. And then it became more and more popular, and then it's like you absorb, you understand this, but then again it's like, what's going on? I'm doing all these things, so why it's not working, or why it's working 5 minutes and then I have a completely different result. What's going on? So we're on bigger cycles to understand than just the little box that you're in. There's cycles within cycles within cycles, individual groups, whatever, further, more expansive things, and they all work at the same time. So of course, if you don't have that energy to see those things, the mechanism, of course you're going to feel like, but I have no control, I don't understand how this works. And so working through these distortion, this implants, and becoming aware of the limitation of life structures, how we construct, how we live life, every structure that you see, like whatever pattern you see in life, that's a structure that has a beginning and an end. And unless we take something to the next level, that thing is going to just push us out at some point, where like naturally you go through something and then you're out, go something you're out, go something you're out. So you have to become not just aware of those things, but you have to start to have the ability to move from one thing to the next. It's like jump. You might need to do this leaps in like, obviously in consciousness, in awareness, and that's, like I said, it's not an easy thing, especially when one has a lot of trash inside. And the mind, by doing this work of cleansing and becoming aware of this dead ends in the end, your mind has to become so flexible that it can learn patterns and then it unlearns. It learns and unlearns, and learns and unlearns, and fluidly move through them because you understand what they are. And then it's like, oh, I've done this, now it's next this, and then I have to go here, and then you are much more fluid, and then you can surf your way through them much more easily. But when there's lack of energy, there's lack of whatever awareness, it feels like, first of all, you're not aware of those things, so that already escapes completely It's like it's not part of your awareness, your reality. So life, it is whatever it is in front of you. It's like whatever you see on the screen. And that's the sad part. But now there's so much more energy, and so many things are changing right now again, once more. There's going to be a lot of disruption, obviously, that people are going to feel from now on, because they still think, oh, we're going to go back, to the things, how things were before, but it's not going to be that, like, we're not going back. Yeah, keep in mind that moving forward is about going through these patterns, like, because that you're here to you experience something. It's a simulation. It's just like you have to just like find your way out of it, or just through it, to move to the next level. It's like a game. That's what it is. And also stay away from the good and bad, this limited pair good and bad thing, because that's going to create another, like, a big frustration in you. And in the end, it's about much more, but ultimately it's about love. So yeah, dead ends is a big thing that most people are not aware. They, like I said, you go through all this life and things, work, relationship, career, this and this, and then you think, oh, I've built this, and then like, okay, so what's at the end? Like, I'm doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, okay, and then what? Now I'm going to be old, and if I have family, whatever, I have kids, then I have grandkids, and bye-bye. Maybe there's another way. Maybe there's another way to do life, to experience more, to live more, to understand more, to see more. Not maybe, for me it's not maybe, I know that, but at the same time it's also very frustrating when I am pushed forward into much more an expanded state, and then I come back, like I said, but I don't come back at the same level, and I still have to deal with certain, like, this limitation, and I'm like, right, now what I'm supposed to do? Oh, this. So the challenges are not done, but it's like I'm shown something, and then I come back. It's like, now apply it, like now do it, and then again get out and come back, now do it. So no, it's not easy, not even for me, but I guess having the space to actually see this and understand how things are makes things a bit more, I don't know, easier. And like I know what this is. It's not that it's less frustrating at times, but I know what it is, so I know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I might not like it today, I don't feel like doing it today, but tomorrow I know, like, right, let's go back to work, because that's how it is. Yeah. I hope this was interesting. Saying hello from the new space, and see you in the next video, which is going to be an update. Ciao. Especially like big wounds, like what I said earlier about this